Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on Indian ethos in management, and today I am going to tell you about the Indian management versus Western management. This is going to be part 1 of our lectures on Indian management versus Western management, and I'll be telling you about the Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. These are two different concepts the moment we look at the Indian and Western management. And let me be very clear at the very outset that we are not going to discount the relevance of any of the management style, neither the Indian nor the Western. Both have different roles to play, the key roles to play. So we need to compare and contrast them if we really wish to understand what is the Indian way of management and what is there into the Western management philosophy. So when I was going through the relevant literature on this, I found a very interesting idea of Western Enlightenment, and there is another metaphor which is being used for the Eastern counterpart, that is Eastern Awakening. So we have to make a discussion between the Enlightenment and Awakening, and both are significant, both are important. So with this as a disclaimer that we are not going to have any aberration or any kind of pre-assumption for any of the management idea. Both ideas are equally important and equally applicable. So in this lecture of mine, I'll be letting you go through the Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. We'll talk about the focus of exploration. We'll have a look at basic approach. What are the different models of humans? What is the view of life, objective, and eventually the social impact? So in order to give you a brief understanding, I thought of showing you this as the agenda of today's lecture, where I'll be telling you about the Western Enlightenment project and Eastern Awakening movement. They consider this entire idea as a project and we consider it as a movement. We have to basically understand that there are different bases on which we have to look at these two perspectives, which I will be telling you in detail, but here I am giving you just a glimpse of what is the focus of exploration here in Western Enlightenment project. Our focus is on matter, whereas in Eastern Awakening movement we are focusing on consciousness. If we look at the basic approach which is applied in Western Enlightenment project, it is basically the rationality way, or what you call as the scientific temper, light of reason, science, or what you call as Vigyan. So we are basically, our approach is completely on cause and effect relationship, that anything which has cause and effect relationship, we are going to rely on that. So light of reason is the basic approach here in Western Enlightenment approach, whereas if we look at the Eastern Awakening movement, it is the re-see way. We have to look at the things again, and the scientific temper with spiritual intensity, the science with the conscience, what you call as Vigyan with Gyan. So we have science, but we do have the conscience also. If we look at the model of humans in Western Enlightenment project, we basically have the Homo faber model, or what you call as self-actualization we talk about, and in Eastern Awakening movement we talk about the Homo sober, or self-actualization plus self-realization, and also the yin-yang model. So we do believe into self-actualization, but we don't deny to the presence of self-realization, which is equally important, or what I can say is which is more important. So these are the important differences between the two. If you look at the view of life in Western Enlightenment project, we find the presence of violence orientation. We are having vehement advertising, we have aggressive attitude in the Western Enlightenment project, whereas in Eastern Awakening movement we find harmony oriented holistic progress. We believe that orientation should be harmonious, there has to be harmony, there is no point, there is no reason for presence of any kind of clash or conflict. If you look at the objective, here the objective is material progress, or what you call as civic society in Western Enlightenment project, and in Eastern Awakening movement we find the sacro-civic society, we find that there is a kingdom of wisdom. So wisdom is something which is always given the first priority, the top priority, the utmost priority here in Eastern Awakening movement. And as far as social impact is concerned, in Western Enlightenment project, there is cognitive arrogance, or what you call as domination, dehumanization. You find at certain places you find the presence of this, whereas in Eastern Awakening movement we find cognitive liberation, we find coexistence, we find rehumanization. That is the beauty of the Eastern Awakening movement. So I would like to put it here like this, that they are not at all competitive in nature, they are complementary to each other. The moment you add the Eastern Awakening movement into the Western Enlightenment project, you are going to witness the metamorphic change in the overall behavior and in the overall success or the perspective of life. The way we look at the success, the way we look at life, that is going to change if we make them complementary to each other. Now the question comes, how do we define the word enlightenment? So in today's discussion of mine, I'll be first letting you go through the word enlightenment, what exactly it means, because in Western management philosophy we talk about the enlightenment, we talk about the cause effect relationship, and then we'll move towards the awakening, which is actually regarded as the Eastern management thought. So unless we understand the broad contours of enlightenment and awakening, we cannot understand these two different approaches of managing the business enterprises and also the life. I would say not only business, even the life can be managed if we follow these principles, if we actually understand the Asian management, or what you call as the this awakening approach or Eastern awakening movement in a proper manner. So the word enlightenment has a special significance here, and the idea of enlightenment is basically rooted in the Western history. If you try to dig the relevant literature of the term enlightenment, you would find that it is rooted in the Western history, and it came into existence with the primacy of reason as a basis for generation of scientific knowledge. So in order to generate the scientific knowledge, the reason, the logic is acting as a basis for the generation of scientific knowledge as far as the enlightenment, the word enlightenment is concerned. And what is knowledge here? Knowledge which could not withstand the rigorous test of reasoning and empirical verifications through what you call as hypothesis formulation, hypothesis testing, its reliability, its validity. It is going to be rejected as unscientific and irrational. So anything which cannot be, for which you cannot formulate a hypothesis, you can't do the testing, or you can't validate the data, it is supposed to be rejected as unscientific and irrational. So here if we look at the term enlightenment, it actually demands for a rigorous test of reasoning and empirical verifications. So it is based on the rigorous test of reasoning and empirical verification. Without that, we are not going to accept anything, or anything means any statement or any law or any logic. So there has to be a logic, there has to be a scientific validation, it has to be a rational representation if we look at if we actually talk about the word enlightenment. So I would not feel satisfied or enlightened unless it is unless the statement or the information is validated by the way of hypothesis, its testing. I'm going to reject it, and I would call it to be a very unscientific and irrational approach. And my dear learners, in present day time, this is actually happening. Whenever we go to the class, whenever I meet the young learners, the young minds, they always say that, sir, you are saying that Almighty is here. Can you show me the presence of Almighty? Of course, we need to understand that even the science has proved, we have already proved that yes, there is some supernatural power which is actually running us, which is actually guiding us, which is actually acting as a source of inspiration for all of us. So in that regard, we need to first understand that yes, whatever we are speaking, that is not at all unscientific and irrational. It is very much rational and it is very much scientific. It is only the difference of perspective with which we are putting it in front of you. if we can find logic into that, of course you are going to accept it and you will accept it, and if you are being rational or you are being very scientific, there is no wrong into that, you are correct in your perspective. So this path of enlightenment actually led to development of rationality based worldviews. So we have a world view which is based on rationality, which is based on the scientific reasons, and this actually contributed significantly to the development of science and technology, and it has led to many improvements in material conditions of humanity. We cannot deny to the contribution of this word enlightenment. This enlightenment have actually improved the material condition of humanity in a very grand manner, or you can say to a greater extent it has actually improved our material conditions, and we are witnessing with the emergence of technology only I am able to talk to you by this via. I am able to deliver this lecture because of the science and because of the development of science and technology. So enlightenment project, this entire project, it led to the emergence of the concept of modernity, what we call as modernity, and the idea of the civic society. So we got this civic society or the concept of modernity because of this enlightenment project only. So we cannot deny to the significant contribution of this term enlightenment, and the light of reason was brought to every aspect of life. It is not only education, each and every aspect of our life is basically supported with the light of reason, and the scientific temper became the hallmark of progressive views in the age of reason. So this scientific temper is it has actually become the hallmark of progressive views in the age of reason, and we all witness that as new discoveries and new perspectives emerged, the enlightenment project gained momentum, and it has influenced many disciplines of human thought and knowledge. So this enlightenment has actually touched each and every aspect of our life, of human thought and knowledge, and it provided the intellectual foundations of modernity and its ethos. If you look at the foundational model of man, it was the Homo faber model. What is that Homo faber model? That a man who believes in conquering nature and its forces. So we were basically in this process of enlightenment or the light of reason, we have actually been acting as a human being, we have been actually following the Homo faber model, and it believes that we are going to conquer nature and its forces, and this psychology of modernity pervaded every aspect of life. We try to control the nature. If I'm finding the winter to be chilly, I have a process, I have my own facilities to make myself feel warm. So and vice versa. So this psychology of modernity, it pervaded every aspect of life initially. Initially we found that yes, we are going to conquer the nature, we are going to conquer the nature and its forces as well. We have the science with us. So this modernity led to human progress and progressive ideas. Although with the progress of modernity, many dysfunctional consequences of enlightenment project also came to the fore. It surfaced. So we could find the dysfunctionality as a consequence of this enlightenment project, and as a result, what happened? The revolt against modernity started brewing. We started we got the presence of one segment which started opposing against this. They used to call it so-called modernity, and the critique of modernity led to many new postmodern ideas and thoughts. But what is the challenge? The challenge is these thoughts and ideas, they highlighted the philosophers and scholars of modernity had taken a narrow and parochial view of the reality. This is what those thinkers started saying, that we don't deny to the contribution of those philosophers and scholars of modernity. We don't deny to their contribution, but they had taken, according to them, they had taken a narrow and parochial view of reality, and this was aided by emergence of new paradigms in science, particularly in the quantum physics, wherein the notion of determinism got challenged. So in quantum physics, the moment this notion of determinism got challenged, it actually gave power to those scholars, to those that segment of society which started challenging the parochial and narrow view of reality resorted to or taken up by the people who were talking about this entire power of knowledge, or this entire what you call as the word of the people who were actually in favor of enlightenment. So not only this, further the cognitive arrogance of modernity and enlightenment project was reflected in treating everything as irrational except that knowledge which could pass through enlightenment's narrowly defined rationality test. So they were saying that it is not necessary that every statement or every law or every logic is supposed to pass through that rationality test, although the material progress was achieved. But the inherent nature of enlightenment project was domination. Domination of what? Domination of other cultures, domination of other countries and other people. So somehow we started dominating the other cultures, the other countries and other people. And in this way the enlightenment project became partner of colonialism, what you call as colonialism. So it became a tool of colonialism, and others had to be civilized according to rational ways of living. And in the post-colonial phase of human history, the negative aspects of enlightenment project have become more evident in the form of environmental degradation. We witness male-dominant worldviews of enlightenment project, and there are many more reasons. We are witnessing environmental degradation. We are witnessing the imbalances, the natural imbalances, because of this type of attitude. So this is the what you call as the outcome or the challenge which we are witnessing in response to what you call as the modernity. So whatever developments we have made, that is always praiseworthy, but what about the environmental degradation? Whether the development is sustainable or not, that is a question mark. So in recent years, pathology of modernity and pathology of enlightenment, they have become the primary concern for many intellectuals. They have actually been doing the thread-bearing discussions about these different aspects, and many of them now consider Gandhiji's Hind Swaraj as a contemporary testament, as Gandhiji had anticipated the limitation of the modernity paradigm. Gandhiji could anticipate that if you go through this paradigm of modernity, this is what we are going to witness. This can be the possible challenge in front of the people who are the propagators of modernity, who are actually the strong followers of modernity. Now, what is the implication of it? What is the impact of it? Application of enlightenment approach to social sciences in the form of rational-irrational dichotomy, it had many interesting implications, because many ethnocentric ideas were passed off as rational and scientific, and insights from other cultures and societies were dumped as irrational. We started saying no to other cultures and societies, and just on account of this statement that they are irrational, they are not very scientific. So with philosophical parochialism of modernity becoming evident, now there is a resurgence in creative search for new ideas in the intellectual heritage of various cultures, and from the negative experiences of European Enlightenment. Why this negative experience? Because we have witnessed that development which was not sustainable, which is not sustainable. A new intellectual movement has been emerging. So this new intellectual movement have emerged, or it has emerged because of the negative implications, and it has found manifestation in various forms. For instance, interest in Eastern spirituality and religions. Now people from West, they have started taking interest in Eastern spirituality. They believe into the Eastern religions, their cultures, the way they perform their rituals. So they are taking interest in these aspects of Eastern spirituality, and we may call this new awakening as Eastern awakening. because its roots are in Eastern approaches to understanding the life in its totality. So taking the entire life in a holistic manner, it is something which gives a reflection of Eastern awakening. So my dear learners, again I would take a pause, and I would like to reiterate that yes, we started with the what you call as Western Enlightenment, and now we are talking about Eastern awakening. Both are complementary to each other. We cannot live our life, we cannot lead our life without science and technology. We don't say that science and technology is not needed, it is very much needed. But what about understanding the life in its totality? Why don't we consider the development, the path which is more sustainable? While running in the race of development, why don't we look for an approach which is more sustainable? So this awakening aims at correcting the negative impact of the Enlightenment project. Some people think that this awakening is going to challenge, it is going to eliminate, it is going to question the Enlightenment project. No, it is simply going to eliminate, it is going to rectify the negative impact of the Enlightenment project, and it can very much be avoided. It can actually be curbed. And for an understanding of Eastern awakening, it is very much useful to understand two routes to exploration of reality. There are two ways to explore the reality. Unless we know the reality, we cannot take a decision. The first route here is concerned with exploration of matter, that we have to explore the matter. And the second route is more interesting. It is concerned with the exploration of that which explores the matter. We have to first explore the matter, and then the second route is concerned with the exploration of that which explores the matter. Who is going to explore the matter? Which methodology is going to explore that matter? So these two routes are very important if you really wish to explore the reality. So the intellectual roots of this route, if you look at the origin point, the point of the emanating point of this route, it could be traced to the exploration of consciousness, which has been the primary concern of ancient and modern rishis, what you call as the gurus, the rishis. And the first route has led to development of scientific methodology, and of course thereby leading to development of science and technology. We cannot say that we don't deny to the significant contribution made by science and technology, and we do believe into that. So the first route has led to development of scientific methodology, which leads to development of science and technology. And the second route is concerned with development of human beings as human beings. This is more important. Development of human beings as human being is more important than the material success. So traditionally, West has given attention to the first route and East to the second route. West has actually given attention to the first route, and we have given more attention to the second route. So both are correct in their own manner, but in order to be more successful, in order to be developed, or what you call as in order to become more sustainable, both the routes are important. So traditionally, it is only the via which we have taken are different. Otherwise, our goal is the same. So traditionally, West has given attention to the first route and East to the second route. So the problem which we are actually witnessing with the Western Enlightenment, it can very much be solved with the Eastern route, the second route. So what we have to do is we have to simply shift from the light of reason to the light of wisdom. We have to simply find another light from the light of reason to light of wisdom, and the combination of these two could lead to a new paradigm for future development of human society. And this is the proposition with which I started my today's discussion, where I told you that the light of reason and light of wisdom both are equally important for the human society. So intellectuals, they refer to second route as Rishi route, as the essence of this route is it lies in re-looking or re-see, way of re-seeing things in a new perspective. So looking at the things in new perspective, looking at the matter from a new perspective is equally important. So the new paradigm goes beyond the light of reason, and it is basically founded on the light of wisdom. And this metaphor of the light of wisdom can be summed up by a wisdom equation. if you look at this wisdom equation, here W is equal to R plus I, where R stands for reason and I stands for intuition. So reason and intuition both are going to, if we combine both of them, then it becomes wisdom, and the rational and intuitive faculties and their role cannot be discounted. So this equation has several interesting interpretations, my dear learners, and it represents the complementarity principle of physics, Chinese yin-yang model, and Indian Ardhanarishwar concept of dialectic synthesis, an omnijective view of reality and as fusion of objective and subjective. So objectivity is equally important along with the subjectivity. So subjectivity is also needed at times. So at a practical level, the wisdom equation also reflects the two sides of brain. One is known as the left and the other is known as the right brain, which is indicative of rational and intuitive faculties. So my dear learners, in this way I tried to give you a brief differentiation between the Eastern and Western way of management, where we started discussing about the Western Enlightenment and the Eastern Awakening. So I hope you must have enjoyed this discourse on the topic of Western awareness and Eastern Awakening. Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. I hope you must have enjoyed today's lecture of mine. Thank you so much.